Now, Washington mornings on the Mall. 105.9 FM. And AM 630. WMAL.
7:37 on WMAL. Good Wednesday to you. Brian Neiman. Brian Wilson's in China this week on a family trip. Tori Clark, former Pentagon spokeswoman, kind enough to sit in this morning.
I love being here. I love it when somebody goes away. It gives me an opportunity.
we like having you here for sure. KT McFarland joins us now, Fox News national security analyst. Good morning, KT.
Good morning.
I
see you're upgrading the lineup.
I know. Isn't it
there
great?
You go. At a girl.
There's no doubt about it. We had Janet Napolitano on yesterday, the head of Homeland Security, and we talked to her for several minutes about Cybersecurity Week, which I guess is happening later this month in Congress, where they're going to be debating and talking about a couple of different cybersecurity bills, and there seems to be bipartisan support for them, both in the House and the Senate. And I know you've said for quite some time on the show that this is a big deal and they need to pass something. Have you had a chance to look over some of these bills, and will it do enough?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good first step, and of course the civil liberties groups are screaming that it's, too much information about people. Look, the bottom line is we may have cybersecurity at the Pentagon, and that's great for the defending offensive and defensive capabilities for the United States military, the federal government, and defense contractors. But that's as far as it goes. Nobody's out there protecting the electric grid or the banking system or all of the corporate secrets that the Chinese steal on a regular basis, and their ability to hack into every computer in the United States. I mean, I spoke to a security conference of sort of energy industry people a week ago, and I said, every one of you has been hacked into. And they all were shaking their heads no, and then somebody came up later and said, yeah, we just didn't know we were being hacked into. Well, that's the problem.
But do you think that these people in the energy sector, in the business, the banking sector, are willing to work with the government, or are they leery of that? Because there has to be some kind of partnership, and there has to be agreement on it.
Well, they have to work it out. Look, if we're smart enough to have figured out the whole Internet, and we have our entire economy now depends on the Internet and on emails, we're smart enough to figure out how to put firewalls, what kind of defenses to take. We just haven't wrapped our minds around the issue, and we also haven't wrapped our pocketbooks around the issue, because most companies don't want to spend a whole lot of extra. They don't want to spend what it might need to have individual security in their silos, so to speak. But they've got to work together to find out how they can get security in the civilian infrastructure, and find that balance between what security protects them and what security goes too far and gives away their secrets.
But KT, I'm having a weird kind of deja vu on this issue, and that is after 9/11, a lot of people looked back and go, wow, there were warning signs there, and there were some dots we could connect, but the government and others couldn't get revved up enough to do anything about it. And on this, I feel like the same thing. Maybe there needs to be, I hate to say this, but some sort of cyber version of 9/11 before people take it really seriously.
I think you've got something, because, again, it's hard to figure out what the solution is. It's not staring you right in the face. It's hard to wrap your head around what might happen. I mean, how bad could things get? It's also hard to wrap your head around the notion of, okay, so, for example, the Chinese, they know everything about us. I mean, they're hacking in to information about the water supply in Duluth, Minnesota. Why? We're not sure. Is it just because they're information gathering? Is it just because they want to know about efficient water systems? Or is it because they want to have something in their back pocket in case there's a conflict and they could use it against us? So I just think it's such new territory. It's such a new frontier that we're slow to understand our vulnerabilities to it. We've been very quick to capitalize on the amazing increased productivity that this kind of technology gives us, but we've been really slow to see our own vulnerability.
But look at how vulnerable we are. I mean, we've all experienced it here in town. The BlackBerries, the iPhones go out for half a day, and everyone is panicking.
Ready to jump off.
Or there was a story the other day about the Department of Commerce where their entire system, everything internet-based, shut down, and they're trying to dig their way out of that. We're remarkably vulnerable, and I'm actually surprised that the cyber attacks, there haven't been more of them, and there haven't been more successul ones.
You may not, the problem is that you may not know you've been attacked. You may not know you've been hacked. You only know after the fact. I mean, the FBI and the Justice Department are monitoring some of this stuff, and they go to companies and say, we saw emails between your CEO and your board members of a year ago, and you've been hacked into. And the company says, huh?
Right.
We didn't know that. Gee, we have a firewall up, or we have protection. Well, what you have isn't good enough.
We have Norton antivirus. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That can't happen.
Symantec. We run that once a month.
That came free with our 3-month subscription. Now, this can't be happening. Well, there's more than just cybersecurity going on, apparently. Bloomberg had a report out yesterday that said American universities are swarming with spies. The higher education institutions in the country in the last 5 years have been inundated with spies. People come from whether it's China, whether it's Russia. Mm-hmm. How serious of a problem is this, and why are they going into universities?
Well, I think there's the good news and the bad news about this. The good news is all these students are coming to the United States, they're getting inculcated in our values, and then they're going home. As my college daughter says to me, Mom, they come to America and they have Facebook accounts, which most American college kids think, are absolutely rites of passage. Mm-hmm. They go back to China and they don't have a Facebook account. Wow, that must be so hard on them. And I think that there is an issue that they come, they learn our values, they see what a free and open society is and how it works and how it doesn't work, but then they go home and they kind of reinfect their own host countries. The bad news, though, is when they come and they're engineering and science students and they're able to take some of the technology that we develop in our universities for our industrial use. So, for example, let's say there's technology that has cost hundreds of millions of dollars to develop that's going to be used for a satellite program. With a click of a mouse, they take that $100 million investment that we've made in R&D, and they have that same technology, that same knowledge, but they got it for free.
All right, KT, it's always great to have you on. Thanks very much for your time. We always appreciate it.